American stealth bombers flew over key Iranian nuclear facilities, launching heavy weapons. But now, the impact is reaching back to the US, and Donald Trump is in the spotlight. The American government claims it was a major win and that Iran's nuclear threat is under control. Some even talk of regime change. Yet, Iran continues to fire on Israel and talks are underway about blocking the Strait of Hormuz. At the same time, the US is now seeking help from China. So, what does the American media say about the strike on Fordow? Why is Trump's MAGA base upset? What will Iran's next move be? Is this a bigger issue for the US? And why is Trump now openly talking about changing Iran's leadership? Do not leave halfway like politicians. Subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Operation Midnight Hammer involved more than 125 aircraft targeting Iranian nuclear sites. This was the first use of a 30,000-pound GBU bomb, alongside 24 Tomahawk cruise missiles. The targets were Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Though Israel had already hit these sites, damage remained incomplete, so America stepped in. President Trump called the operation a major success, but US media reacted differently within a day. They are questioning the government's claims, even during conflict. So we decided to examine only American media coverage, not Russian, Iranian, Chinese, or other international sources. Bullseye on Iran's nuclear sites. Fordow is Iran's most protected facility. Built deep beneath mountains, it houses advanced centrifuges and uranium enrichment operations. The US targeted its tunnel ventilation system to disable centrifuges. Satellite images before and after show ash deposits, but no clear proof of deeper damage. Facilities buried over 300 meters underground were designed to withstand this kind of attack. The IAEA says it cannot confirm whether the centrifuges underground were hit. Interestingly, the bomb used was made by Boeing, a company under scrutiny lately for its aviation quality, which raises doubts. On June 19th to 20th, just before the strike, high activity was spotted at Fordow. Analysts say Iran moved around 400 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, enough for roughly 10 nuclear weapons. That uranium seems untouched and is likely relocated. Natanz, Iran's largest nuclear facility, has parts both above and below ground. Israel damaged the surface, while America focused underground. The original structures were hit, but debate continues on the extent of damage underground. Isfahan was targeted by Tomahawks. Israel claims destruction, though the building was not strongly reinforced. There were no radiation leaks reported, so the presence of nuclear material is still unclear. Iran's military strategy of spreading ballistic arms across multiple sites might also apply to its nuclear resources. The idea: keep uranium and centrifuges spread out to prevent full destruction. There is no doubt Iran's nuclear sites were hit, but was the nuclear program stopped? Experts say it is still operational and can be restarted. The US narrative is already shifting within 24 hours. People are asking if years are still needed to stop Iran. Was this intervention worth taxpayer money? Everyone knew Iran could not directly challenge the US, but this strike was expected to bring peace or change. Now, even with more US weapons available, the challenge is political. Trump is under fire. Global response to the attack outside Iran. International backlash is growing. Once, US interventions were welcomed as pro-democracy moves. Now, countries like China and Russia are calling this attack illegal and a UN charter violation. Iran's allies are voicing support. A former Russian president's aide suggested Iran's nuclear infrastructure remains intact and even said other countries may now supply Iran with warheads. Iran's foreign minister is set to meet Putin in Moscow, likely to discuss next steps. And as we mentioned in our earlier episode, Iran's parliament approved the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow passage handles 20 to 25% of global oil trade, including India's oil supply. The U.S., understanding the oil implications, turned to China, its economic rival, for help stopping Hormuz's closure. This move shocked many. After sanctions and tariffs, now Washington is asking Beijing for assistance. How far will Trump go to stand with Israel? Even CNBC published this strange development. MAGA turns against Trump. Trump's fan base is huge, like those of sports or film stars. To them, Trump is infallible. He has long positioned himself as a president who ends wars. He criticized both former and current leaders for dragging America into conflicts. His supporters saw him as someone who puts America first, seeking peace, not war. He even hoped for a Nobel Peace Prize. But now, his own base feels betrayed. Instead of peace, they believe he jumped into a Middle East crisis because Israel asked. There is rising anger over inflation, lack of progress, and now a new conflict. Some MAGA fans are publicly turning on Trump, tossing their caps in protest. Americans are beginning to believe their country is not acting independently, but is being led by foreign interests, namely Israel. One key voice is Marjorie Taylor Greene, a top Trump supporter. She claimed that Netanyahu pushed for the Iran attack to boost his own political position. This is not coming from leftists or critics, but from Trump's core. It is as if a loyal insider suddenly admitted political motives behind military decisions. Slowly, people are realizing the true nature of U.S. foreign policy. Vice President Vance, aware of the shifting support, urged MAGA followers to stay loyal. But his own words now sound empty after claiming for months that America should avoid foreign conflicts. Now, critics of Trump and Vance are being silenced or removed. Where does this lead? Trump is now talking openly about regime change in Iran. This marks a big shift. Earlier, he said the focus was only on Iran's nuclear program, not leadership change. Now, there is talk of opening new markets, cheap oil, and preparing someone to replace the current Iranian regime. Some say if Trump truly wants a Nobel Prize, why not broker peace between Israel and Iran? Why not push both to give up nuclear arms? It has happened before. South Africa and Ukraine disarmed, of course. Such questions are avoided. Officially, Israel does not even admit to having nuclear weapons, and America does not challenge that. Ask these questions and you risk being followed. For Trump, the best scenario might be if Iran attacks the US, then he can justify war. But if Iran only targets Israel, it complicates matters. Without provocation, a new war is hard to sell. At home, public pressure could stop future interventions. And yet, America says it cares about Iran's democracy, women's rights, and nuclear threat. But where is that same concern for North Korea? No stealth bombers fly there. This shows the double standards. It is not about right or wrong anymore. It is about who has power and who does not. And today's targets may become tomorrow's attackers.